You folks have chosen to make your living in a profession that requires exactly the opposite kind of thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong. You and your teams are supposed to be generating a relationship with a client, sitting down with them, do a fact finder, learn about them, understand them as unique individuals, find out what their financial needs are, and then go back and construct for them a personalized, unique, individual financial plan that serves their particular needs. Isn't that what most of you do in one way, shape, or form? That's the opposite of what that scatterbrain thinking I'm talking about is. When you're driving down the highway thinking about what you should have done, could have done, might have done, some folks do that in appointments. That could be disastrous. You can always tell when people are there. I'm going to date myself again, by the way. Do any of you remember who coined the word rock and roll? Do you know who that was? It was a disc jockey out of Cleveland. Coined the word rock and roll. He's also a famous disc jockey whose name at the moment eludes me. I can't believe I can't remember his name. Alan Freed. Nonetheless, he coined the term rock and roll, and he was famous for a number of statements, and here's one of them. Alan Freed always played music loud when he was doing his show on the air. Always had the music blasting full blast. Used to drive his sound engineers crazy. One day, one of his sound engineers said, "Alan, why do you always play the music so loud?" His answer was, "Because they always know when you're listening." They always know when you're listening. I will make the same statement to you. They always know when you're listening. When your producers go into that person's home or office and sits toe-to-toe with that client knows if they're there mentally 100% or not, or if their mind is somewhere else. If a client calls you with a service problem and you're on the phone with them at the same time you're playing with your computer or fiddling with your smart, they know that, they feel that. I have two brothers, you know, an older one and a younger one, love them both dearly. My older brother drives me crazy. I call him sometimes, whenever my older brother is on the computer, you're talking to a wall. How are things, Lou? Fine. How's the family doing? Good. What's new at work? Nothing. See you later. You can tell he's on the computer. Now, when he's not on the computer, he's a completely different character. Totally, and that's what's happening to some of your producers. They're going in there with this scatterbrain, head in the cloud type of thinking, and what a coincidence. Do any of you happen to know what the next generation of computing has already been called? You'll hear this term, if you have not, in the next year or two a lot. The next generation of computing is called cloud computing. What a surprise. Give us your information, and we will store it for you up in the clouds. Give us your programs, and we'll put them up in the clouds. Give us all your sensitive information, and we'll put it up in the clouds. Well, where's my information going? Out there somewhere. Where is it going to be stored? Well, I can't tell you precisely, because a little bit's here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Are you sure no one's going to be able to access it? Trust me. Trust me. Get ready for cloud computing, because that's the next thing around the corner. Again, you've chosen a profession that requires exactly the opposite type of thinking. Your clients are going to know if you're listening to them. You send your producers in there for appointments, they're going to know if their mind is wandering or if they're thinking about something else. So, would it not behoove you, and certainly behoove your producers, to learn some techniques that would do anything to increase the amount of time they stay focused, especially when they're face-to-face with that client? Now, let me explain again. I'm not asking you to learn anything new. Good news, you don't have to learn how to get focused. You were born focused. Take a look at a 4-year-old. Focus. You were born focused. All this scatterbrain thinking is a byproduct of where you happen to be living right now, the times you are living in. You're born, it's not hard to learn how to get focused. You learn how to do that. And I am not saying throw away the other type of thinking, because another term that crept into our lexicon back in the 80s, right when everybody started using personal computers, was the first time you ever heard the term multitasking. Remember that? What are you doing? Multitasking. What's that? I'm doing 5 things at once. I'm thinking of 5 things at the same time. I'm here to tell you, you cannot think of 5 things at the same time. You can think of one stream of information at a time. Now, you can take a period of time and bounce your attention all around so it seems like you're thinking of 5 things at once, like a movie, but you're not. You can only think of one thing at a time. So, anything that you can do and your producers can do to get and stay focused, certainly and especially while they're face-to-face with their clients, is probably going to push up your ability to communicate and relate to those clients. Yes or no? So let's get to the point. Normally, when agencies bring me in, I have a lot of time to develop a lot of different ideas. Obviously, I'm constrained this morning time-wise. I only have time, unfortunately, to show you 2 techniques. But I will show you 2 very simple things you can do that will almost instantly increase the amount of time you spend focused as opposed to head in the clouds. And the first is a very, very, very simple technique, and I know it sounds strange, but I'm going to go back to this little toy again. All of these smartphones that you folks carry around in your pockets and purses, all of them have built-in schedulers. Here's what I recommend you do. Take a minute or 2 and program this little machine you have in your pocket to either vibrate or buzz every 15 minutes. Remind you every 15 minutes for the next 24 hours or so. Now, why would I want you to do that? If you had this in your pocket or purse, and every 15 minutes you heard the chime or you heard the buzzing sound, I'm going to invite you to stop what you're doing for just an instant and ask yourself, what am I thinking about right now? What was just going on in my head when that buzzer went off? Get your head out of the clouds, pull it down to the here and now, and ask yourself, what was I just thinking? Every 15 minutes, what am I thinking, what am I thinking, what am I thinking? And some of you are going to be shocked at what pops out. Your thought process is habitual. Like anything else human beings do, you are creatures of habit. You have walking habits, talking habits, eating habits, breathing habits, sleeping habits, and you definitely have thinking habits. Some people have told me when they do this, it really surprised them because every time they heard the buzzer, they'd stop for a minute and ask themselves what they were thinking, and they realized they were worrying about something. One producer once said, the buzzer went off and I'm worrying as I'm on my way to the appointment that the client's not going to show up. I get there, it goes off again, I'm worrying the client's not going to sign the app. The client signs the app. I'm on my way back, it rings again, I'm worrying the client's going to call and change their mind. I worry all the time. He said, I knew I had a problem when I caught myself sitting at the kitchen table worrying because I didn't have anything to worry about. That's a pattern of thinking. Some people put themselves down all the time. Why didn't you ask for referrals? That was stupid. Why didn't you ask for the annuity? The client was right in the palm of your hand. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Some people are always mentally beating themselves down. That's not going to get them where they want to go. There are definite trends to your thinking. Find out what they are. And one simple way of finding out, program these little computers you got in your pocket every 15 minutes. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? And here's the side effect to that. Here's the beauty of that. By continually getting your head out of space and putting it in the here and now, every 15 minutes, you begin to increase the amount of time that you can stay focused and concentrated. And then when you're sitting in front of the client, or if the client's calling you, or if you're sitting in front of your producer trying to manage them or train them or inspire them, your attention is where it can do some good. The only thing you have any control over in any way, shape, or form is the here and now. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. So one very simple thing you can do is program these computers you carry in your pocket.